All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the part of the world you're joining us from. And welcome to our eBanqo webinar for today. My name is Itoha Iyala, and I'm the head of growth for eBanqo. But today, I will be your host for this webinar. So today our topic that we'll be looking at is dynamic FAQ, transforming customer service using AI. But before we begin to delve deeply into this particular topic, let's talk a little bit about eBanqo and what we do. So eBanqo is a customer engagement platform that gives businesses of all sizes the ability to provide instant and seamless service to their customers across channels 24/7. So basically, Banco gives every business their own AI platform. And why do we do this? Because one, we believe that keeping customers waiting is not okay. And we believe in this ideology because there's a school of thought that says that responding to a customer quickly has a singular and greatest impact on customer satisfaction. In fact, some people even say that when a customer is able to reach a business and get instantly responded to, the problem that the customer brings to the business is practically half solved. And then we believe that one of the ways that businesses can achieve this instant response in this conversational age is leveraging chat as an option for customer support and engagement. And in doing that, we help businesses to do a couple of things using chats. So this is how it works for us in eBanqo. So basically, we take all the chat platforms that businesses actually have their customers engaging them from. So whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's Facebook Messenger, whether it's Google Business Messages, Instagram, or even if they have their website. So we aggregate this into a single channel and then we integrate it to our core that we call the eBanqo Messenger. Within this particular core, after we do the aggregation, we give you a couple of features that you can use that will help you support the customer much better. So one, within the core, you get access to having a chatbot, then an FAQ chatbot as well. Your customers are also able to self-serve themselves within this particular service. We also give live chat functionalities as well as the ability to broadcast message beyond the everyday broadcast channels that we know, which is email and SMS. But you can now broadcast messages to the customer in the preferred channel in which that they engage you from. Depending on how large the business is, we can also integrate to any backend or third-party system you currently have running, such that the business is able to maintain whatever source of information they currently use in supporting their customers by integrating with our platform. So that's eBanqo in a nutshell. But that's not what we're going to be talking about in this webinar. But before we begin, let me take us on a very slight, a little bit of a flashback, so to say. In our last webinar, where I had the honor of having a sit down, just like this, with the CEO of eBanqo, Dr. Charles Ifedi, we spoke about a lot of things, and then he told us about how eBanqo is not just focusing on just aggregating channels, messaging chat channels that we have in the world today, but eBanqo is also taking the bull by the horn by creating its own proprietary chat channel, a chat channel uh, solely dedicated for businesses to be able to engage with their customers. So whatever customers or whatever businesses that you are, um, you can actually reach a whole lot of your customers through this chat channel, proprietely owned by eBanqo. And this chat channel is called the eBanqo Chats. Now, he also told us during that webinar that in the course of building eBanqo Chats, there was an experiment that was run that gave birth to creating a unique feature within eBanqo Chat called the Dynamic FAQ. Now, ever since that webinar with Charles Ifedi, which was a few months ago, a few weeks ago, we've been bombarded with quite a lot of feedback from different people asking questions, they wanting to know much more about the dynamic FAQ. So we thought, okay, it would be better to just have a session and let's explore and delve deeper into this unique feature owned by eBanqo, the dynamic FAQ. And to do justice to delving into dynamic FAQ is no other person than the head of engineering for eBanqo, Mr. Toyosi Oyesola. Hi, Toyosi.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure,
Good
sure. Thank you
afternoon,
for
everyone.
joining me. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. All right. So before I start putting Toyosi on the hot seat, let me just speak a little bit about, the format that we're going to be using to address, guide our meeting for today. So I'll be asking Toyosi quite a whole lot of questions. I don't get I don't get to ask them a lot of questions because they're always behind the scenes coding, making sure we roll out some exceptional products. So I'm going to make sure that I ask all my questions today. And then I know that in the course of asking Toyosi questions, some people might also have questions. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat. There are a lot of my colleagues that are on standby to provide responses to you. No, we are the slogan of instant responses. They'll respond to you instantly. And then if we still have time, by the time I'm done with my whole list of questions, I'm sure TLC can take a few questions. So without wasting much time, let's get started. All right. So TLC, my first question. So can you please describe this fascinating concept of AI and specifically generative AI, and where does Chat GPT come into this space?
Okay, thanks again, Ita. So I'm going to start by defining what AI is.
Okay.
AI is a machine with the ability to provide solutions and solve problems that are usually done by humans without natural intelligence. A machine is categorized as intelligent when it can reason, adapt, and solve problems. On the other hand, talking about generative AI is a subset of AI that focus on creating models capable of generating new data that resembles a given data set. So examples of generative AIs are um, ChatGPT, that we all know. I'm sure we all know ChatGPT. We've used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we also have Google Bard. We have Bing Copilot.
Okay.
So all these are categorized as a language model
Okay.
under the generative AI.
Okay.
So language models are models that are trained on vast amount of data and are capable of understanding, generating, and predicting human language.
Okay.
So we also have some other types of models, which are image models and many more.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Sir Sis. So it's still sounding very, very, very in the tech space, but I'm sure that as we progress, we will get a sense of what you mean. But you said so many things now around the concept of generative AI, and the easiest example that we could all relate with is Chat GPT. What would you say this concept is, or how would you say this concept are of value or views to businesses today?
Okay, so we've seen generative AI being used in so many fields. We've seen it being used in creativity and innovation,
Okay,
where it can generate content in arts,
okay,
music, stories.
okay,
We've also seen it being used in personalization, like generating a tailored content
okay,
or tailored preference
okay,
that we can apply in marketing, user interfaces, and various customer facing applications.
mhm,
We've also seen it being used in natural language processing and understanding, just like the bots,
okay,
in chatbots and virtual assistants.
mhm,
And we've also seen it being used to translate languages. So let's say you want to translate from English to French or from French to German,
okay.
you can also use it to do that. And we've also seen its power in software development. It's able to do things like debugging, unit testing, and also code documentation.
All right. Okay. So yes, if I hear you very clearly, what basically you're saying is that generative AI has a space in almost every business facet. It can find there's use for it in every almost every kind of business facet, as far as that business is in is existing in this world of that we are
Yeah,
in right now.
exactly.
All right, cool. So
Exactly.
this that clearly takes me to the next question. So my next question would be, with this all this knowledge that you've mentioned so far, and then the immense benefits to business that you just took us through, how would you describe dynamic FAQ? Help us understand it in the context of all the things that you've said so far.
Okay, so to better explain dynamic FAQs, I would like to take us back to why we built dynamic FAQs.
Okay.
We're trying, as a business, we're trying to provide solutions for customers to reach out to businesses and browse their frequently asked questions.
All right.
So we developed this product called knowledge-based FAQs.
Okay.
Knowledge-based FAQs allow businesses to upload their FAQs, their questions and answers, the same way they have it on their websites
Okay.
on knowledge base. So after doing that, when customers come to their chatbots, the customers can ask questions that they want answers to.
Okay.
And once they ask this question using NLP, we are able to, NLP is natural language processing, we are able to get similar um, questions in their knowledge base to what the customer is asking. And using the NLP, we are able to prioritize and rank it based on matching scores and show the appropriate answer to the customer.
Okay.
This has been this has been a great success because we're able to show the appropriate answers to the customers. But it has its own limitations around if a customer is not entering a question in a structured way, in a way that it can match a particular question that is uploaded in the knowledge base, or the information on the knowledge base is outdated because you need to update the information you have on your website manually into
Okay.
knowledge base, right?
Okay.
So if you update your website and you're not updating knowledge base, the information
Mm-hmm.
on knowledge base will be outdated. So because of this issue, it has some kind of limitation. To solve the issue of customer queries that
Okay.
is not well structured, we built another product called listed FAQs. Listed FAQ tries to solve the problem of customer entering their queries themselves. Rather,
Okay.
all the FAQs that is uploaded by the customer is shown on the um, customers chat as menus so they can see all the menus with all the questions. So the
Yeah.
customer just needs to scroll through, check the question that match their inquiry and click on it. Once they click on it, it's going to give them the appropriate answer. But this
Okay.
didn't also solve the problem of of outdated information because the businesses still need to come to listed FAQ to upload their frequently asked questions.
Okay.
Also, listed FAQ was not able to take customers through a flow. They are
Okay.
not able to take customers through a flow. Customers are not able to express themselves the way they want it. So, looking at that, we now built another solution called the tree FAQs, which allows businesses to specify a kind of flow, just like you have in USSD menus.
Mm-hmm.
Are able to click on a menu, it's going to bring other related menu. You click on it, you get your answer. But this
Okay.
also didn't solve the problem of outdated data and is
Okay.
not able to, customers are not able to express themselves the way they want to express themselves. So to solve that problem, we decided to build another solution called dynamic FAQs. So dynamic FAQ is solving problems of unstructured questions. The customers can come to type in question in any way they can express themselves. It's solving the problem of outdated information because the businesses don't need to come to eBanqo to update their FAQs. Rather, they just put the URL to their website or their data
Yeah.
source or maybe a particular document, put that on eBanqo, and dynamic FAQ goes to the data source and fetch the data itself. We're also solving the problem of unstructured data source itself because you really don't need to specify a set of frequently asked questions. It just goes to your website, get all the content on your website. They are not structured in a way that is supposed to answer frequently asked questions. just get them and bring them into dynamic FAQs. And it can also do things like continuous conversation flows, allows the customer to ask a question and they are able to continue conversing with the bot.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Toyosi. So you literally just took us through like the evolution of the birth of dynamic FAQ in the sense that, it's been like a gradual process of upgrading to ensure that, all the Banco customers actually have an FAQ system of managing their customers that is convenient and then it provides updated information. Yeah. Now,
Yes.
my next question would be, so with all those different, the different formats you've already listed, particularly dynamic FAQ and then these benefits, how does it leverage the chat GPT like technology to provide accurate answers?
Okay. So
Sorry,
dynamic FAQs.
yeah,
Yes. Okay. Dynamic FAQs is built on generative AI, which is a large language model. It's a language model, right?
okay,
So it's like the language model is a base model. So if I'm going
okay,
to illustrate it this way, so just look at it like you understand English language, right?
okay,
Um, Understanding English language is the base model. So I can give
okay,
you a comprehension passage,
yeah,
right, for you to read through, and
mm-hmm,
I can ask you questions from that
okay,
comprehension passage. You are able
okay,
to read through the comprehension passage and understand it because you understand English. You are able to comprehend.
absolutely, okay,
So the same way dynamic FAQ works, the um, LLM is the base model, while the
okay,
comprehension is the users, the business data, the business information,
okay, okay,
and the user's query are the questions I'm going to ask you. So once the user is asking any question, you are able to, the dynamic FAQ is able to go into the context. The
okay.
context now is the comprehension and pick out answers from there. Using this, it is able to get accurate answers and give specific answers to customers' queries.
All right. So if I hear you correctly, basically, and I love your analogy of the English language being like a base and using that to explain LLM. So basically, from what you explained, businesses that are actually using dynamic FAQ typically do not need to do any sort of updating like we used to do in knowledge base, like you explained. They only need to provide like a source data or a source point that the dynamic FAQ feature will call, and then when their customers come to ask questions through the chat interface or the chat bots, then they are provided those responses. That's my understanding from what you just said?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right. Okay. So this is this is sounding very interesting so far. Um, so this actually comes from the conversation I had with Charles I a few weeks back when he was introducing dynamic FAQ, and he did say that eBanqo is going to use dynamic FAQ to democratize dynamic FAQ rather is democratizing AI and providing every single business with their very own chat GPT. So what would you say are the benefits of this dynamic FAQ to business and their customers?
Oh yeah, so that's a great question. So dynamic FAQs can provide 24/7 availability to businesses. Um,
Okay.
Even when your business is asleep, during off working hours, the bot is able to answer queries that the customers are asking, is able to provide solutions for their problems even when you are not available.
Okay.
Another advantage or another benefit is scalability. It's able to answer so many customers at the same time, which you may not be
Okay.
able to achieve with support agents.
Okay.
It's cost effective. You don't need to hire so many support agents to do the work for you. It can handle
Okay.
the vast amount of customers that you have.
All
It
right.
provides quick responses and instant responses. Customers don't need to wait on the queue for a support agent. The bots,
Okay.
once you are chatting with the bot is able to answer your questions and provide solutions.
Okay.
It's also very consistent. When customers ask questions, the same
Mm-hmm.
questions over time. It keeps giving the same information, not like users that are prone to errors and they can give wrong information probably because they don't understand what you're saying. Then this
Okay.
can also complement human agents. So human agents can be like a fallback. So
Mm-hmm.
before it gets to human agents, the bot is able to respond to the customer. If the bot is not able to process that information or give answers, then they can now forward it to the human agents. Then another benefit is that it gives you a competitive advantage. Implementing a cutting edge technology like AI technology will showcase your business as delivering top notch customer experiences. So yeah.
Right. All this sounds really, really, really interesting. I mean, if I was any business, the things that you've mentioned, cost effectiveness, top-notch service, available 24/7. So that basically means that you go to sleep, but your business doesn't go to sleep. It means that it's something, if I was any business, I'll be very interested in. But just to still dive deeper into the workings of this dynamic FAQ. So you mentioned that, the dynamic FAQ uses different data sources. So how is eBanqo ensuring that one, the information provided or the responses provided to customers or the customers that actually use dynamic FAQ, the responses are up to date and then they are accurate.
Okay. Dynamic FAQ uses the concept of prompt engineering, and prompts are like the initial instructions that you provide
Okay.
to AI systems to guide them
Okay.
um, in generating responses.
Okay.
When data is fetched from these websites and documents, we split them
Mhm.
into sections, and these sections are
Okay.
what once users enters a query, we try to get the specific section that contains the information the user is asking for. Like I
Okay.
explained before, we now use that section, those sections that we've gotten as a context
Okay.
to the large language model to read, understand, and answer the user's queries from it. So the data sources that you have inputted doesn't really matter because all the data is one. All the data belong to your company, right?
Yeah.
So we just put the whole data together and try to get the appropriate sections from it.
Okay.
And talking about being up to date, we have options of setting things like refresh frequency. So if you have a
Mm-hmm.
website that changes a lot, maybe like a blog, you may want
Mm-hmm.
to set it to refresh weekly. So automatically,
Okay.
Dynamic FAQ goes to your blog site, fetch new
Okay.
content, and add it to the data set that it's working with. You can
Okay.
also, for sites that doesn't really change, you can send it to monthly or it doesn't refresh at all. We also
Okay.
have opportunity like options for you to do a manual refresh, as you can see from the screen. You can do a
Okay.
manual refresh to pull if you feel like your data has changed and you want to update the records. You can just click on the refresh. It's going to go to your data source, fetch the record there, and update the data. Um,
Okay.
yeah.
So let me just quickly layer a question on top of what you just said. So basically, when I hear you say, especially around updates, is that depending on the source data, the business that is using dynamic FAQ is able to set the refresh frequency based on how often they update that particular data source.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
awesome. That's awesome. And just to be sure that I got this very, very correctly. Now, this dynamic FAQ is currently a main feature that is available on the Banco's proprietary chat channel, the Banco chat. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so having said that, Josie, I have a unique request. I'm going to ask, I know this is live, but I'm really going to ask that you humor us. And please, if you could just show us what um, um, it looks like, what the dynamic FAQ looks like, both from a customer's view, that is a business, and then the business's customers. So what do they see? If you could just show us what it looks like.
Okay, I think I can do that. Let me share
Awesome.
my screen.
So while Toyosi is setting up, this, if you're wherever you're joining us from, this is a unique experience for businesses that are looking or joining and watching. You are about to see dynamic FAQ in action live. Toyosi, we're waiting for you.
Okay, I think it's coming up.
All right, so it's up.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is the dynamic FAQs configurations page.
Okay.
You can see this option up here. You can enable or disable dynamic FAQs. So you might want to disable it maybe when you are trying to update your data, when you're trying to set up. You don't
Okay.
want your customers to start querying and reaching out to your data because you are still doing the setup.
Okay.
So the first thing here is the full website. So the full website means that once you put in a website URL,
Okay.
we are able to Dynamic FAQs is able to go to your website
Okay.
and get all the contents on the website.
Wow.
So it's not just going to be just a single page. It's going to go through all the pages on your website and get the content from your website.
So yes, let me quickly
So
stop you
this
there.
is
So
out.
yes,
Okay.
let me ask a quick question around the website. Sorry. So imagine that there are people that have up to like maybe 30, 40, 50 pages on their website, right? So all they need to do is just add a URL and all those pages are covered. All right. So let me allow you continue.
So and it requires you pages to go back. So if I had to you can choose which is like so the object map.
Okay.
Object map uh the, the page I think
Okay.
you want the buttons to cross. Have specify the
Okay.
map and
Okay.
save it. So get from your website, add it on.
Okay.
Also have the option of web page. So the web page outside your that you want also get and put the page and choose to get all the content have this option of upload policy documents, even annual reports, and all of that, pricing documents that you have in any format. So we support all these formats: Words, uh, Excel, PDF, PowerPoint, text file, whatever format that you
Okay.
have them. You just need to upload
Mm-hmm.
them from your system and save it. Once you do that, Dynamic FAQ is going to get the content from that and import it into Dynamic FAQs. So that is for the content page. And for the settings, you can set a particular name that you want your bot to be addressed as. So, for example, from this demo, you can see eBanqo support. So when the
Yeah.
bot is actually trying to address itself, it calls itself eBanqo support. So that is the bot name. Then I talked about
Okay.
the instruction, the way you want
Okay.
the bot to answer your questions, the way you want the bot to respond to your customers. You are going to put in an instruction so you can see the kind of instruction we have here, saying that you
Okay.
are an enthusiastic support agent who loves to help people. So you can
Mm-hmm.
even put things like you are a bot and you are an alien from the answer like an alien from the future. Like you can put things like that, and it's able to answer uh, exactly just like that. You can also include things like instructions like split your responses into multiple paragraphs. You can use numbered steps and all of that. Don't
Mm.
respond outside this information I've provided to you. So this is a very great tool for you to actually customize
Absolutely.
your responses.
So yes, let me quickly lay out a quick question on what you just said. Now, so not only does that dynamic FAQ um, allow you, pull information from multiple data sources. You can also define the behavior in which the responses go out to your customers. So, like you just mentioned now, that the response will come like somebody that is enthusiastic, that is, however it is, the personality of how you want your agents to be. Businesses can actually define that as well on Dynamic FAQ.
Exactly. As you
Awesome.
can see from the screen. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. 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 Please proceed.
Okay, so we also have options like exclusive. So exclusive is you want to instruct your bots to only answer questions from your own data sets. It's able to answer questions from its own knowledge. Like I said, it's a language model. It understands a lot of things. It's being trained on a lot of data. So it can answer information that customers are asking even without your own information. But setting it as exclusive means that only answer customers from the information that I have provided. We also have like new features that we've um, just deployed, like the chat
Okay.
memory. I talked about conversation flows where you are able to converse with the bots. You are able to, you can have like a continuous conversation with the bots. Once you
Okay.
ask a question, the bot responds. You can ask another question based on the response the bot just gave you. So, yeah, you can enable this. Then we have options of importing FAQs that you have populated in listed FAQ and also in knowledge base into dynamic FAQs. So dynamic FAQs can answer questions from these other types of FAQ, knowledge bases as well.
Okay.
So
So a quick question there. You said something about the chat history. So that means that Dynamic FAQ will also give the chatbot the ability to have a conversation with the customer, just the same way maybe a human being was, by being able to refer
exactly,
to an existing conversation flow. Yeah?
exactly, yes, just
Awesome.
like your
Awesome
support
stuff.
agents.
Okay. All right.
Okay, cool. So I'm now going to go to the consumer part. That's the customer part. What the customers will see. So this is the Banco chat.
Okay.
Ebanqo
Okay.
Chat allows you to search through businesses. So you
Okay.
can just search a particular business name like Ebanqo,
Okay. So we're going to be using the eBanqo as a business.
yeah, as a business. You are
All right.
also able to list like businesses. So we have a lot of businesses on Ebanqo Chat,
Ah, okay.
and you can actually converse with them, try to resolve your issues or whatever issues you might be having.
Okay.
So using Ebanqo Chat, just to demonstrate what I just explained. So I'm going to search for eBanqo chat, eBanqo
Okay.
as a business.
Okay.
Then right here you can see information about the business. You can see the
Okay.
tags, what the
Yeah.
business
Yeah.
does. You can see the location. You can see the phone number. You can see the business sector, and you can add a business to favorites. You can share a business with your friends and all their contact details.
Wow.
So when you click on this chat button, you're able to chat with the business. So I can ask a question um, from the bot. I can say, how can I configure listed FAQs? So once you enter a query like this is a typical example of a user query. So it
Okay.
goes to the bot. The bot is going to tell you like, I'm working on it, trying to find information. So the
Okay.
bot has come with the information. So you can see it's
Wow.
telling me like step by step how I can configure listed FAQ. It tells me to go to the to configure listed FAQ, go to the configurations page,
Okay.
select knowledge base, choose
Okay.
listed FAQs, and so it
Yeah.
gives me step by step. Once you have done that, you can
Mm-hmm.
edit and all of that. So this information is rich enough for me to understand exactly what I need to do. If I need to get this information, if I should go to Ibanco's Help Center, it's going to take me some browsing to actually figure out where
Yeah.
this thing is. And I
Yeah.
need to read through a lot of documents to actually understand the steps that is required to configure listed FAQs. But using these dynamic FAQs, I'm able to
Yeah.
just get a short answer that is
Yeah.
specific to my query.
And
And it's going
it
to
just
ask
zeroes in on your exactly.
exactly, and it's going to ask me, um, does it answer my question? I can say yes. If I say yes, then it shows me the menu. So that's I think that's all I want to show.
Thank you, Toyosi. So while you are taking the screen, I've just a quick question. So when you ask the trust my head of engineering to ask a configuration question. So when you ask the question, when you ask the bot, how do you configure listed FAQ? The bot responded, I will get the information for you. What is going on, at the back end at that time? What's going on exactly?
Okay, so like I explained before,
Mm,
the content from your website or from your data source
mm,
is grouped into sections. So what is happening at
yeah.
that point in time is that we are trying to find the sections that are suitable, that are similar to the query the user just imputed. So once we
Okay.
get the sections, so it's
Yeah.
probably going to be multiple sections, right?
Yeah.
Then we send it to the large language model, that's generative AI, to read through, so it's
Okay.
kind of reading through, trying to get a
Mm.
summary of a kind of way, just like human would do, read through a passage and try to get the correct answer to give to me. So that is what is going on at that particular point in time.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that quick demo. It was quite exciting. Us seeing, the dynamic FAQ from both what the business you see, it being set up, just simply by just pointing data sources and enabling a simple toggle. And then, when the business's customers now up on a selected channel using eBanqo chat as an example, how the customer would search for the business and chat with the business, and then how the responses become organized, straight to the point, making the experience very unique. And by the way, let me say very, very, very fast. Thank you, Toyosi, for
Yeah.
that experience. Just a few
Uh,
more questions for you. So first off, I noticed that the interface that you showed us for Ibanco chat was a web interface. Just to confirm, Ibanco chat is also available on the
Mobile
app,
apps, Android
mobile app.
and
All
iOS.
right. Okay. And then dynamic FAQ too is just to be confirmed. It's also available on both channels as well, both on the web
Yeah,
and then on
on the apps.
mobile. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So moving on to our questions, we just have a few more. So generally, this is an early experience, or rather, an early experiment. What would you say are the milestones or achievements that you've seen in this very first few weeks of Ibanco Tax and Dynamic FAQs? What has, would you say have been achievements been like?
Yeah. So we've had some great achievements. We've
Okay.
onboarded over 160 businesses and their websites
Okay.
on dynamic FAQs.
Okay.
Um, we've also processed over 150,000 customer queries using
Wow.
dynamic FAQs.
Wow.
And on the Banco chat side, we have so many signups from users
Okay.
that have been using this product. So those are like the key achievements we've had so far.
It sounds very promising for something that just we just rolled out very, very, very quickly. Still on that same on that same thought process. So what we saw really was dynamic FAQ on Ibanco chat. And on Ibanco chat it is a main feature. But is there a possibility of dynamic FAQ being extended to other channels, maybe like WhatsApp, web chat, Facebook Messenger, and the rest? We ask this question because currently the Banco core does aggregate these other channels. And now we know that the Banco chat is proprietary to Banco and then also is the main feature of dynamic FAQ. But would you be extending this feature maybe soon to these other channels as well?
Yes. So yes, Ebanco Dynamic FAQ is going to be available in all supported channels, and Ebanco is an omni-channel chat platform. So whatever experience that you have on the Ebanco chat, you are also going to have the same experience on all the chat channels. like
Okay.
WhatsApp, Facebook, and all of that. So the same way you are able to type in your query, get answers using dynamic FAQs, you are going to have that same kind of experience using all the other chat channels.
Okay. Still thinking in that same process. So, are there any specific industries or types of businesses that dynamic FAQ do you think is well suited for? Uh, or and then also still thinking in that same thought process. Um, what are maybe the plans that eBanqo is using to ensure things like data privacy and security? Since we're using the chat GPT like technology.
Yeah, okay. So talking about the industries, so basically, if a particular industry has customers and it has a business, then you can use dynamic FAQs because once you have a customer, that means that your customer needs to reach out to you. They need to like ask questions about your business. They have inquiries. Once you are able to have customers that can do that, then that means you need dynamic FAQs or you can use dynamic FAQs. Then talking about data privacy and security, on the eBanqo chat end, we use OTPs to authenticate users. So once you input your email, it's going to send an OTP to your email, and you need to take that OTP code and put it inside, just like a password, inside the eBanqo chat to authenticate you. So that makes it secure. No one can just like access your data or see your chat history. We
Okay.
also provide, when it comes to data privacy, we also
Mm-hmm.
provide account deletion. So if you need your records to be out from the Banco chats, maybe you don't want to use the app anymore, you can actually
Okay.
delete your account.
Okay.
Then we are undergoing a series of certification, NDPR, and
Okay.
then 27001, which focus on like adhering to standards like data privacy and data security standards. So
Yeah.
we've gone through the certifications to make sure that we are doing things in lawful ways.
All right. All right. Thank you, Toyosi. So I'll take like one or two questions from the audience now. So if you have any question, begin to just drop it in the chat, and then I will take I'll read out the questions, and then Toyosi can do justice to it. So first question will be what are the future plans and improvement the Banco Charts and Dynamic FAQ aims to implement based on maybe user feedback and then the evolution of AI technology? Jessica, can you take that?
Okay, yeah, cool. So for eBanqo chat, we've actually gotten a lot of feedback from
Okay.
the usage. So some of the things we are implementing currently are reviews and ratings. So we want to allow users to be able to drop reviews on businesses and rate a particular business. And once they can do that, they can also do things like post a question. So if they have a question, they can just post it instead of asking the bot. If you don't want to ask the bot, they can post a question and anybody with answer or even the business can respond to that question.
Okay.
And all this, the reviews and the questions and the answers can now are now like shown as feeds. So we are going to have a
Okay.
feed page. It's going to be shown as feeds to the users, and they're able to browse through, see all this review for each businesses and any questions as well. So other things that we've done on the dynamic FAQ side. So I talked about the chat memory. That's the continuous
Yeah.
conversation, which is like
Yes, you did.
a new feature that we just released as well. That is also based on users' feedback, and yeah, things like asking follow-up questions, like does it answer your question? So this can go back into the bot and use as training to make sure that your bot is actually providing solutions to customers.
Okay. All right. Um, Let me see if there's any more question. Okay, so just one more. Um, how can businesses collaborate with eBanco to get their business listed?
Okay. Business can call out. They can reach out to us on eBanco on using our email hello at
Yeah.
ebanco.com. They can also go to our website to like complete the self onboarding process. where you
Yeah.
just enter the name of your business setup. Once you set up, you are able to go inside, get inside eBanqo and enable dynamic
Yeah.
FAQs.
Mm-hmm.
Also enable your business to be listed on eBanqo chat as well. You
Okay.
are able to do the configuration, set up your businesses, put in your information, and upload your logos and all of that.
All right. So I have one more question. I will take this question. It's on pricing. What's the cost of so I think firstly I will take that question.
Okay.
For so for questions on cost, please we will take that outside of this webinar, but we can tell you that it's very very affordable for every business. And then if we're also part of our last webinar with our CEO, we did mention that we're running something where any business or businesses that sign up between then that particular webinar was on the 18th of May, and August the 1st will be signing up and experiencing um, Dynamic FAQ and the Banco chat for free. We still have a few days to the August 1st deadline. So if you're any business, you can still actually enjoy it within the time frame that is remaining. So I think that's all the questions we will take for today. Tracy, thank you very, very much for honoring our invitation and then for helping us do justice to it. I know it wasn't easy. It's not easy for tech to speak the language of the streets, but
Yeah.
you did.
Thank,
But you
thank
did
you.
immense justice to it. Thank you so much, Seriously. And when we call again, please do answer us. Now, for those of us that are interested in experiencing dynamic FAQ feature, please feel free to go to your App Store, your Play Store, or you can scan the QR code that's on your screen right now to download the Banco Chat app. And then you would see the various businesses that are there that you can chat with. Or better still, you can actually go download the Banco chats and then chat with eBanqo, that chat with us on the Banco chat and tell us that you want to have your business enabled and someone will respond to you. Or you can send us an email at hello@ebancochat.com and we'll respond to you instantly. Thank you everyone that joined and made out time. We hope that the session was insightful and rewarding. Do have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.